Greetings, Father Kevin Kennedy here. Welcome to my office. The title of my message today is Culture Eats Strategy for Lunch. Culture is a way of life, a learned behavior. Sometimes the culture in which we're brought up can work against strategies we have to improve our lives. This applies to organizations, churches, societies that have great plans or strategies to improve something without understanding the power of the underlying culture to work against the strategy. So think of a time when you heard someone offer you a quick tactical solution to a family problem, a work challenge, or a neighborhood dilemma. Did the quick and easy solution deal with the complicated situation effectively? If not, there was probably something cultural working against the strategy. Saturday evening, I went downtown to the protest that was underway in reaction to the killing of Mr. George Floyd. When I left, the demonstration was peaceful. But as we know, violence erupted there and across our country. In this message today, I don't claim, by any means, to comprehend the vastness of this tragic situation. I just simply want to bring our attention to some of the culturally accepted forms of violence that are with us all the time. And I want to do that because I've heard a number of people say, I understand the right to protest, but I don't understand the violence. And when I hear that, I think of the phrase, culture eats strategy for lunch. Personally, I'm not surprised by the violence because there are such strong elements of violence in our culture. I don't consider myself a violent person, yet I know that violence is ingrained in our culture. Violence is like the air we breathe. We don't see it until there's a tornado. Violence is so much part of our culture, we don't see it until there's a riot. This country was established by a revolution against the domineering colonial king. The land on which we stand was violently taken from the native peoples. Much of our economic prosperity was extracted from enslaved African peoples and has been perpetuated in alternative forms since the Emancipation Proclamation. So why are we surprised by violence? As a nation, we respond to many challenges with violence. A violent system of incarceration used as a solution for economic, social, and mental health problems. Some people love it when presidents display this bravado to get tough and threaten to go to war with other countries. The 26th president of the United States, Theodore Roosevelt, once said, I should welcome almost any war, for I think this country needs one. Let's think of Iraq and the thousands of our fallen brothers and sisters from this country, and the hundreds of thousands of innocent Iraqis who were killed on a false claim that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. And some people became billionaires as a result. Look at our military budget. Our military budget is larger than the military budgets of the next 12 largest military budgets in the world. Maybe some of that could have been better spent on job training and mentoring for formerly incarcerated citizens. The TV show Cops has had a 30-year successful run. The often violent takedown of the bad guys is cheered on in many quarters. I'm amazed to see people driving military-style vehicles called Hummers on our streets. Military surplus stores are thriving. The sale of handguns has increased significantly in the last few months. Until recently, it was a common practice for us to give children toy guns as playthings. The brutality used by some police officers against people of color has long been seen by some as just another culturally accepted form of street justice. From watching the video, it seemed to me that the officers who watched a fellow officer kill Mr. George Floyd didn't even see the violence and the inhumanity right before their eyes because it's in the culture. Can we attempt to see with a better vision? I don't believe in violence, yet I understand why oppressed people get extremely frustrated and turn the culture of violence against itself. Violence is what we are taught is an appropriate reaction to disputes. So why is there any wonder when people use violence to confront racism? Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. answered this question and understood this quandary when he opposed the Vietnam War. He saw the contradiction between his teaching on nonviolent resistance and the acceptance of violence of our nation against another. So I asked God, and I asked myself, what can we do? And while the answer is complicated, I know one of the things we have to do is start seeing clearly the violence that we accept as just another way of doing things. While we need to have good strategies to promote nonviolent resistance, I need to understand how I have taught others that violence is the way to confront any problem. So I pray that the protests remain peaceful. I also apologize for the ways in which I have accepted the culture of violence. I apologize for the times when I have not held legislators accountable for their attitudes towards military spending. I apologize for the times I have used malicious words against those with whom I disagree, or consumed violence as a form of passive entertainment. I apologize for the way I have consented to violence or racism as just the way we do things around here. I hope and I pray that people will be genuinely heard through peaceful means. I pray that our city officials and other officials across the country have good strategies for maintaining and encouraging peace. I also know that I, in my own way, need to confront the culture of violence. This is because even if we have good strategies, but go without confronting the deep-seated culture of violence, culture will win, and truly, culture will eat strategy for lunch. Thank you for listening. Please pray for me. I'm praying for you.